You know, I mean, he's in shape, he's good looking, he's about fat like his dad. And he hits that weight, and he just goes, and I'm like, oh, I can do it, man. So I get, and I don't realize how big the wave is coming in. I swear it's a 10-foot wave. And I hit that wave, and I get the thought of my son, who's a dirt bike racer, and I say, okay, Mike, do what Mikey does, just hit it hard. Mike Killiman tells me today he probably just went through it. He didn't. No, I got up, and I'm about 15 feet in the air. And I'm thinking, this is not, I mean, I'm so high, I had time to think about it. And I'm thinking, this is not going to end well. And I'm thinking, do I want to bail left, right? Do I want this thing, should I just go back and let it land on me? You know, I mean, so, strangely enough, I land perfect. And now I can't walk. I would have rather the thing land on me. Yeah? This coming down on that hurt tremendously. I share that to say I honestly thought while I was up there, you know, you're coming down, I'm thinking, Lauren's collecting on that policy. I am thrilled to be here. I appreciate the attentiveness. I appreciate all that Family First Life has done really for me personally. I cannot thank Mike Killiman enough for not just his friendship through the years, but caring enough to stay after me for probably 6 or 7 years. Got a little intense about it a little while back, then not intense at all, which kind of made me mad that he, you know, but hey man, you really wanted me, now you don't, what the heck? Then about 1.5 years ago, he and I was skiing. He had enough money to treat everybody. I didn't have enough to rent skis. And I said, you know, I've seen something different about Mike. And I said, Mike, tell me about this thing. He said, okay, I'll fly you out to Dallas. I was like, free flight, I'll go. So I went out and I just wanted, Mike, I love you. I appreciate you, brother. You have changed my life. I'm very thankful to all of you that have trained me and put up with me. And Galen, I kid you not, I think Galen was one of the first people that I listened to train when I got into business a little over a year ago. And he said, you have to get uncomfortable. I did get uncomfortable, and I got asked to leave. It happens, but I'm thankful to all of you. Guys like Gary, man, they just constantly pour into my life. I was teaching over in Birmingham. Gary shared something last week. I said, you know, I'm going to try that this week because of what I tried with putting the phone number up in the corner. Set 4 appointments off of that from people calling me back. So not only do I get to come up here and share kind of with you what the good things that's been going on, but also I get to learn from guys like Gary and Terry and so many. I don't want to miss anyone, but it's just a real pleasure. It's a joy. I love what I do, and I want you to do it. I see we have a lot of new people here. I'm honored to do this. Also want to thank Sean Mike. Without his vision, his leadership, let me tell you I've started businesses. If you have never started your own business, it is scary. And it takes a lot of leadership, a lot of courage to step out and do what he has done. And because he stepped out, look at our lives getting so much better as a result of that. And I'm thankful for that. I don't know if you are, but I truly am. How many of you heard Mike Killiman talk about the guy that went out and sold about $5,000 the very first day and forgot to take applications with him? How many of you have heard that story? Lift your hand real high, wave it like you just don't care. I'm the guy. Okay? I am the guy that went out, sold about $5,000. First time in the field, I'm fired up. Mike's texting me, keep going, big guy. So I get done with the day. I say, hey, Mike, I got all these people's information on my yellow notepad. What do I do? Submit the applications. I remember distinctly. Language is changing. What is applications? I say that to say, he's shaking his head. I say that to say this. If I can do this business, you can. There's no doubt in my mind. If I can do this, you have no problem doing it whatsoever. Thankfully, I went back. I just admitted I was dumb, and the people signed the applications, and everything was good. I've started doing some hiring, and I am enjoying that, but if you're fairly new, I want to share this with you. 5 things real quick that you need to get good at. Write this down if you're taking notes. There are 5 keys to success in this business that I've found for myself, because I still consider myself pretty new. I've been actually writing since April 1st of last year. I've been doing it about 14 months now, but these are the things that I learned from Mike Kilman in a private meeting with him that I knew that I needed to do. Number 5 is this: you need to commit to training. You're here, thank you. Keep doing stuff like this. Get on the calls, be at training, be at convention, do everything you can to learn, because there are great people in this business that just want to pour into you so that you can become a better agent as well. And here's the other thing, and I know we keep saying this: just do what they tell you to do. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Do what they tell you to do in the training. You don't have to know this and know that. Just know what they're telling you works, because that was the revelation that I had just about a year ago from June, July, is if you will just listen to what successful people are saying, you too can be successful in this business. Number 4, you have to commit to your schedule. Gary does such a great job on schedule, I don't need to touch a thing. But you need to commit to that schedule. And the kids, the wife, the husband, the dogs, everybody needs to know, don't come in, I even tell my dogs, I'm not giving you a treat while I'm dialing. It's not going to happen. So even the dogs need to know that it's dial time. The third thing, you need to get good in the home. Galen just went over masterfully getting good in the home. Go top to bottom. Work the worksheet. Mike, what do I do? What do I say? What do I do? Follow the worksheet. It's there for a reason. It gives you exactly what the answer that you need from them is right there for you. All you got to do is write it out as they say it. Just follow the worksheet. The second thing is you need to get good on the phone. You need to be pretty good on the phone. If you're not, get better at it. I think the thing that cracks me up is the story about Drew. The story that Drew, the first time that he called someone and they answered, he hung up. and you know, to see him now and to see how successful he is and how he is really so influential within the company, it's pretty amazing. But here's what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about working with chief leads. So here's the number 1 thing that I try to share with my new agents: get good at getting leads. Get good at getting leads. So kind of what I want to do is go over that with you. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you a question. How many of you have a CRM? Raise your hand real high. Wait a minute. You have a CRM. The first time I ever asked this question was about a week ago in Birmingham, because I didn't know how many leads a person should have. I didn't know how many should be sitting there. So I want to ask you all a question. How many have a CRM? How many leads do you have in your CRM that you have not dialed yet?
Maybe 4 or 5.
4 or 5, okay. Anyone else have a CRM? Oh, now no one's going to raise their hand. Coach. 323. That's how many you have. All right, good job, man. Anybody else have a CRM? How many? 1,000. I like this. That you haven't dialed. You dialed them all? Okay. How many you haven't dialed? 0?
No, I haven't. Oh, 0 I have not done.
Capiche? Me lo que no la cabeza? Those of you that was in training last week, you get that, right?
I have 300 I haven't dialed.
You have 300 you haven't dialed?
I do not have.
Coach, listen, part of being a good coach is getting people to listen.
And how many I've got?
How many you have that you have not dialed?
15.
15. Anyone have 50 or more that they have not dialed? Anyone have more than 100? 200? Anybody have 1,000 that they have not dialed?
Wow.
Anybody have 1,500 that they have not dialed? Anybody have 2,343 that they have not dialed? I do. 2,343. That's how many I have that I have not dialed. Now you may say, Mike, if you have all those leads, number one, that's a boatload of money. Number two, those are new leads, right? No. Some of these leads are 4, 5, 6 years old. Some are a year old. Some are 3 months old. And what I did, when I hear good teaching, and I'm like, you know what, that's a great idea. I just go on, and anywhere that I can find those kind of leads, I go on and I buy all those kind of leads. If they're already 4 years old, who cares if it takes me a year to get to them? You know what I'm talking about? So it's just the way I'm working it. When I have some slow leads coming in, I can now jet on up to Ohio, because right in certain areas of Ohio, I found pockets of 300 and 400 leads that were 2, 3, 4 years old. They're going to sit there. If they sit there a year, I don't care. I'm still going to do the same thing to try to get in a year. So I have 2,343. That was my count today. I know it changes every time I do this. But Matt Smith, how many of y'all heard of Matt Smith? Raise your hand. Heard of Matt Smith, #1 salesperson in our company last year. I think he did almost $750,000 issue paid. Is that pretty much right? $750,000, somewhere around there. This is what he says. He says, you can never have enough leads. I want to be like the guy who's selling a lot. And if he says you can never have enough leads, then my opinion is I need to be buying as many leads as I can possibly afford or can't afford to buy. Now, I am challenged. I grew up in West Virginia. Brent, you want to give him a sign for West Virginia, or think we ought to hold back? Probably hold back? Yeah, okay. Well, we're being recorded. My wife would kill me if I did. I grew up in West Virginia. I was educated in Tennessee. I have my degree from Lee University in Cleveland, Tennessee. I live in Alabama. Okay? IQs, we don't discuss in all 3 states. Okay? Alabama, I come to find out, is where the toothbrush was invented. If it'd been anywhere else, it'd been teeth brush. So with my fine cultural experiences of growing up in West Virginia, being educated in Tennessee, and living where the toothbrush was invented, I have a slogan that I would like to share with you when it comes to leads. If you ain't got leads, you ain't going to make money. Let me say it one more time. Okay, take note. If you ain't got leads, you ain't going to make no money. So why cheap leads? Why cheap leads? Number one, they're cheap. Yeah, that's right. We have a slow flow sometimes. Anyone going through that right now, where things have slowed down a little bit, and you're just not getting as many leads as you once did? The second is this. Some of you are just getting started. Maybe your manager's throwing you out of the nest, and you have to start now making this work on your own and on your own dime. Maybe it's a low capital issue. I hate writing in front of James Weir because he's a teacher and he criticized me last time. And he's probably going to have to help me on this one, because the third reason is, how many of you have goals that you want to meet every week? How many of you have numbers that you have set? So the third thing is, the reason why cheap leads work is because of your consistency. You're trying to remain consistent. You know, I don't want to make $10,000 one week and $1,000 the next, right? We want to be consistent. So to be consistent, I think we're going to have to learn to fall back on the less expensive leads, the discounted leads, the cheap leads. Really just, you're going to have to do it. So number one question I'm getting from agents right now when they call me, I've been fortunate enough to do a couple different training sessions. Did one on the national, done several for Mike at Southeast. And every time, without question, some of the number one questions that I'm getting is, Mike, with slow flow, how are you staying so consistent? And this really is, and that is really why I'm talking about the cheap leads. It's helping me stay consistent. It's helping me to meet the numbers and the goals that I have. You want to know what my numbers are? What's your numbers weekly? Anybody have numbers? Just throw them out. That you want to set every week. How many?
25. 30.
25, 30. Okay, good. My numbers for my goals, I want to set 28 to 32 every single week. I want to set 28 to 32 every week. So, in May I did, I'll show you exactly what I did here. I'll start over here. Y'all get your calculators ready. This is May, and my issue pay was $30,461. That was my issue pay. If you want to know what went into my bank account, it was $19,333 of that has already been put into my bank account. Today I'm adding $4,700 to that bank account. Just thought I'd throw that in. So, that was my issue pay. Mike mentioned how many new leads that I obtained in the month of May. How many was that?
28.
28. I had 28 new leads that came out to me in the month of May. So, if I have 28 new leads, I'm okay on the phone. Let's say I set 75% of the new leads. What is that?
21.
21. Let's make it 20. I'm from West Virginia. Round numbers are good. So, if I have 20 appointments and I write 12 applications, which is obviously 12 more than my first day in the field, 12 applications, because I usually do about 60%, I'd say new, and once I get in the house, I think I'm going to sell about 60%. If the average is $100, somebody tell me how much I've made. If the average payment monthly is $100, somebody tell me.
$14,400.
$14,400. This is what I made off my new leads. Right? Whatever, that. But that's what I actually did for my issue pay. That was my issue pay off my new leads. So I'm short about $16,000. And that's where the discounted cheap leads come in. Do they take more time to work? Yes. I might get 30 or 40 old leads, and it might take me 3 hours to dial through them, but it still helps me to keep my consistency. And consistency is important, because let me tell you, especially you men, let me tell you this, your wife's going to like that first time you get $10,000 in a week, and she's not going to like it when you don't get paid the next week. We cooking with Crisco. All right, so my wife now tells me, why are you here? So, how do we purchase the leads? And so obviously, I needed about $16,000 worth of old leads that I could make up, because I'm trying to do about $30,000 a month. So, how do we get those? That might be a question. How are we able to get those? Well, I thought about stealing them. I didn't tell this. This is the first time I've told this. Yeah. So, listen, steal them if you can. And I had the perfect opportunity to do it, but I was afraid of doing prison time. I stay at the Best Western in Birmingham. Oh, shoot, we ain't supposed to say names, are we? I stay at a hotel in Birmingham, and one of our competitors checks in. I'm smart enough, they're in my office that I use, little glass one, executive office that they provide, and they're in there dialing, and you can just tell what they're doing. I can tell. I'm like, they're me. They're us. They're taking my business, and they're in my town. And I don't like it. So, I go over to the desk clerk just to make sure. I say, are those insurance people? Yeah. How many know the little dolly? The little cart thing you wheel your stuff up on? You know, if you're lazy, you put your one suitcase on it and wheel it on up. Anybody? So, they have wheeled some things, Mr. Killiman, that I recognize. Stacked tubs of leads. I'm telling you, man, they were stacked this high. And they forgot they left them outside of their door. Now look at this. And imagine this running as fast as it can across a hotel parking lot, pushing a cart full of leaves. I was thinking I can retire on these leaves. So I'm thinking, just grab it and run. I was going to do it, man. I was thinking, just run with them. And my senses came, and I realized, hey, I'm making a pretty good look. So then I knocked on their door. I said, hey, guys, your leads are out here. I said, Mike Shroades with Family First Life. I'm at a certain amount of commission. I'm hiring guys. What's your comp rate? And you can always tell who's in charge. Because when I started talking about how well and how blessed I've been and how fortunate I've been to make some good money, Mike, what was so funny, you can tell who's in charge because he grabs the guy like a child who's being bad and drags him back in the door. Because he thought he was going to impress me with his 60% comp. I didn't get chest bumped out there, but they shut the door quickly. The big shop shut the door kind of quick. But I thought, I could steal my leads. But anyway, I did, and I didn't want to go to jail that day. Here's where I get them. How many of you have been provided leads by the person who hired you? Just raise your hand if the person. Listen, man, I've been in this a little over a year. And let me tell you this, those of you who raised your hand, you're 6 months, 2 months, 1 month into this, I want to let you know, it's going to get better. It's going to get better, I promise. This month, 1 year ago, I was on the edge of the cliff, ready to jump. I was 2 months in. Mr. Killiman had to talk me off the cliff. I had my first set of chargebacks. Not only was I not educated to take applications, but I was not told they would cancel. And I also learned not to sell a guy who's mezzo loco and la cabeza a large policy of $800 a month. Wow. Right? Don't do it. His first payment he canceled directly after when he came to his senses. Anyway, so the old lead, those leads that you're, they're still free, right? So here's what I'm saying. In saying that is, just go back to your CRM, check out the old leads that you got that you wasn't able to close. They're free. Start dialing them. You wouldn't believe in the last couple months how many of those that I have been able to close. And listen, they were people that told me no a year ago. Because I've just gotten better on the phone. I've learned how to overcome some of the objections that I couldn't overcome then. So if you're 6 months into this, I'm sure you've gotten better on the phone. Just give them a call back. Say, hey, this is George. And, I got this. It looks like you got it 6 months ago. Has anyone come out? And they'll say, no, no one's come out yet, Mr. George. Well, hey, I'll be there at 3 o'clock tomorrow and hang up on them. You like that? Listen, I hate phones, and I hate phones. I don't want to be on there any longer than I need to be. And one thing they taught me quickly in this business, all you need to do is get in front of people. And once they give me the okay to be there, I'm off that phone. I don't care, if, what's going on. I'm done. So, the second thing is this, the cherry pick. These are the ones that work for me, by the way. There are, I'm sure, myriads of other ways you can do this. Just ask around. The cherry pick mortgage protection. I'm going to tell you though, how many would like to run some old leads to try to make a little better money? Just lift your hand. I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to travel. Okay? If you want to make more money, you got to travel. You're going to have to. The third is the Mail Pro discount. I absolutely love these. Killing it with those. So, how's my time? Okay, I got just a couple more minutes. So anyway, how many have heard the country song, when was the last time you did something for the first time? Y'all know that country song? Oh, by the way, yesterday, you ain't gonna believe what I figured out yesterday. How many of you heard the new song? I don't know the guy, but it says, holding it down at the BFE. The country song, I don't know. Yesterday, I was like, I was going crazy trying to think, what is the BFE? And yesterday, I ate the best food ever. The BFE, I figured it out yesterday. That's what it is. I'm telling you, it's got to be. Hold it down at the BFE. Best food ever. Under the bridge, Panama City. It's awesome. It's a hole in the wall. It's awesome. Never ate there till yesterday. So, there comes a time when you have to do something for the first time. And I just want to share with you, just very, very quickly, the first time that I ran these leads, the first time I ran old leads. That was, I believe it was April. No, in March. First time I ran old leads. I spent $142 on the leads. I received 42 leads. My issue pay off of 4 days of work, really 3.5, 4 days of work, that turned out to be my issue pay. Off of the first time that I ran old leads. Now, so let me explain this. I was not James Weir. I actually contacted him and asked him how he does it, just the scripts that he uses, the things he does, and that's what I did. So if you're wondering, does it work? The very first time, this isn't me, learning how to do all kinds of new scripts. $142, 42 leads. Of those 42, I was able to set 21 appointments. My issue pay off of those 4 days was $14,000. Hey, I'd like to make $14,000 a quarter in a lot of the jobs I had. How about you? Let alone in 4 days. Hello? McFly? I'm dating myself, aren't I? Okay. So, just real quick, what I do when I get these older leads, I dial them in the order of their location. I try to stay as close. I don't want to be going an hour away from each lead. I want to dial them and I want to set them as close as possible to one another. If one is 50 miles away, I don't want to set that one until the end of the day. I want to make sure that this one's 5 miles from this location. This one's 7 miles from that location. Because that keeps your flow going, it keeps you in a groove, keeps you moving along. So here's how I do the different scripts. Because I have come up in the last month or so with 3 things that I like to do script-wise. Just write this down. I won't take the time to write it. 6 months and under. Leads that are 6 months and under, I dial them like they are brand new leads. 6 months, what's today? So let's say you're dialing December, January leads that you've gotten a hold of. Hey, this is Mike. I got the lead that you sent in. I got the information, blah, blah, blah. You all know the routine. Just however you do your new leads, do it just like that. Because they still are cognizant of what's going on and what they sent in. The 6 to 12 month leads, I change just a little bit. I'll call, I let them know who I am. I let them know that I have been assigned to their case. And then what I do is I ask them, has anyone come by to bring the information to you either from my office or another office? And I either get a yes or a no. If I get a no, great, I'll be there 3 o'clock, hang up. Okay? 13 months and older. Brandon from Nebraska, did I do it right this week? Okay. Brandon from Nebraska did an awesome presentation over the phone on 50-cent leads and how to set those leads. And I have that information. I'll give you my phone number. Text me. I'll text it to you. I'll just send you a copy of it. 334-389-0905. I'll text you a copy of it. And essentially what it is, hey, there have been updates to your policy. I'm going to be in your area at 3 o'clock. Hang up. In-house changes a little bit. First thing I do is I observe their behavior. When I walk in and I'm doing older leads, if they treat me like someone else has been there like me, then I know someone like me has already been there, right? So when you go in and they say, oh, the table's over here. Did you catch what I said there?
Yeah.
And if it's a 3-year-old lead and they say, oh, the table's over here, and they go over, and the moldy coffee cup with all the mold in it, the cat poop, they're flicking it off the table, right? They're getting the animals off the table. You can tell I was working in Tennessee that week. Anyway. You observe their behavior. After that, you might as well go ahead and ask them to get their policies because they have probably bought something and it's time to replace them. From there, just do what Galen says, use your worksheet, and just go straight down from there and run it like a regular appointment. So, real quick, is it okay if I go ahead and share with how I do my health questions and I'll be done? Oh, okay, good. Okay. People really like the way I'm doing my health questions. Galen said, Mike, you need to get uncomfortable. He didn't say stupid, but it works. I did this the other day and I watched their reaction. Okay, so I have my lead, my worksheet, and instead of me just going and saying, hey, go get your medicines and this and that, because I kind of like don't want to forget something. What I found myself doing was rolling my eyes thinking, okay, I want to get through all the knockout questions real quick. I'm rolling my eyes thinking, okay, if I ask this, if I ask that. So what I did, I come up with a little routine that I do, that I touch parts of my body, okay? Some I will touch, others I won't. Right? Me se loco de la cabeza.